the choices that you're presented with lead you to have the ability to persevere and find your way through them and be better for it, or to choose the opposite and wallow in self-pity and, fall into that victimhood trap.
Well, let's go to we're getting out of time here, so let's go to just some lessons. Any key lessons that you've learned from having the autoimmune disorder at a young age, and then playing competitive sports, and then having family, and then getting married, having kids, and having that really cool story of meeting Liz, and all the stuff you've shared. What are some of the key lessons that you'd like to share with us, Brien, that come up for you?
The key lessons for me were perseverance and choice. I think those are the top two, because when you're presented with a hardship, for me, it took me a long time, and I'm still learning to better myself on how to make the right choice in terms of how I'm going to react to a scenario, react to a happening, react to something, whether it's negative or positive. Because if you choose the wrong path, it can greatly affect you, your psyche, your work, your life, the people around you, what you do, how you do it. And that can snowball in a negative fashion, just like it can snowball in a positive fashion. So being, an eternal optimist, I've been very much so the last year trying to turn myself far more into an optimist, as opposed to choosing to have poor reactions to adverse things. And I'll use an example. My oldest daughter was diagnosed with a rare neurological disorder called Rett syndrome, RETT. And it affects 1 in every 15,000, mostly female births. And when that happened to us, this was 2020. I was right in the heart of the pandemic. And there were milestones that my daughter wasn't meeting. We went to the doctor. It took 10 months of testing and all sorts of things to figure out what was going on. And it turns out she has this incredibly rare disorder. It's spontaneous genetic deficiency. So it wasn't inherited from me or my wife. And that's what happened. That's what it is. It affects every aspect of her daily life. She can't talk. She can't walk. She can walk a little bit, but needs a lot of support. And there's a lot of, she does her talking through a speaking device where she can use her eyes and select what to say. The best way to describe it is that the lights are on. She's absolutely home. She just can't tell you.
With her voice.
So she tells us through eye gaze with her voice, right? She doesn't have a voice. So when that diagnosis came down the pike, at that time, my wife and I had a choice to make. It was, do we sit here and wallow? Do we, how is this going to affect us, and how are we going to choose to move on? And the choice was either wallow in self-pity, be angry, ask why, ask, how could this possibly be? What do we do? We're lost. We're all alone. Or we make the choice that her and I both made that, for me personally, it might be a little bit different for my wife, but I allowed myself to grieve over it for about 3 or 4 days. And then my very first action, in which I kind of contribute this to being a business owner, was, all right, I have to take action. I've got to do, what can I do to learn everything I can? Who can I connect with? Who else has children with this disorder? How can I talk to them? How can I learn from them and understand more about this and see what we are in for? And then choose to live every day for our daughter, to do something to improve her life, to do something to invest in her capabilities, finding the best doctors. We're very blessed to be here in Cincinnati, Ohio, with Cincinnati Children's Hospital. It's one of 19 clinics for this rare disorder. So we're very fortunate. How to find the best therapy, how to find the best classes for this. We are also blessed. We live in a great school district, and one of the best school districts in Cincinnati for special needs classes. So we had all these choices to make, and realizing that we are still blessed. She's the daughter that we always wanted. We were just thrown a curveball that we weren't planning on. And we had that moment to choose to be grateful for what we have and do what we can to support her at all times. And that's the choice we made, because and I think in a past life, when I was in high school or in college, I was very volatile. I could really take that choice to go down negative road and get really depressed about it, or whatever was going on at the time, be on those emotional roller coasters. But the older I get and the more kids we have, and especially with my older daughter, Cecilia, it really taught me to be grateful and know that you're blessed, she's blessed, and we're very fortunate. We have a ton of help around us. My parents are incredibly helpful. We're blessed that they're 10 minutes down the road. Liz's parents are only an hour away. They help us a lot. And we have a lot of good friends and family and great doctors and care team that help us with our daughters. So not to have too long of an example there, but the choices that you're presented with lead you to have the ability to persevere and find your way through them and be better for it, or to choose the opposite and wallow in self-pity and, fall into that victimhood trap, which I think there's a scourge of that in our country right now, the victimhood, right?
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's such an unacceptable way to live, but it's a choice. You choose to do that. So I think those are the two biggest things for me.
I completely agree with everything that you just shared about it's a choice. And it's a scourge or a scourge on our country and on humanity. And if anyone hears this, it can take some inspiration or some solace in knowing that, Brien has chosen, Matt has chosen to not play that game. We've chosen to own ourselves and own living a life of gratitude, regardless of the circumstance. Then I feel that we've accomplished our mission today to help others see hope, and that they can do it too. And you said turning down that negative road. For those of you who have listened since the beginning, that's to the west side of Cincinnati. So stay off of the negative road. I'm just kidding, West Siders. I'm just kidding. I love you all. That was the lighthearted joke about the West Side.
It's just less accessible out there. We have more highways over here.
Yes. Well, so tell us where we can find out more about you and your agency if we want to find out more about hiring you or just see you on social media. Where do we go, Brien?
Yeah, absolutely. So my agency is Ricochet Digital Marketing, and we're on a mission to make sure that no high-ticket home improvement company ever gets burned by a marketing agency again. So if you are, even if you're not within the home improvement niche, we help a lot of companies to implement our Market Master system, which is web development, Google services, so Google Ads, Google Business Profile, Facebook lead generation ads, email marketing, and targeted direct mail. These are the 5 areas that I identified for businesses in this niche that really need to be focused on in order to find positive ROI with marketing. And too many times in marketing, there's too much bad mistrust and anger and deceit out there. And I'm on a mission to be the complete opposite of that and eliminate that scourge from the marketing world for small business owners. So you can find me at ricochettdm.com. That's RICOCHET. Sometimes that's an easy word to misspell. You can also hit me up on LinkedIn. So just look me up, BRIEN GEARIN. I'm pretty active on there, and I love connecting with new folks on there and learning about your business. Or you could always shoot me an email, Brien, BRIEN, at ricochettdm.com.